All right. Welcome, guys. And before we get started, I'm going to sit here for a moment. I want anybody who's listening right now to let me know if the stream is performing as expected. And then once you guys confirm that, I will get started. But I know we had some trouble on Sunday, so let's make sure this stream is working as expected, that you can hear me well, you can see me well, it's not lagging, there's no sputter, and we good to go. All right, so hopefully we are good to go. So what I'm doing is just sending the link out. Okay, you guys have confirmed that. I appreciate that. Sending the link out to the people that I normally send it to, guys, before the show starts. You know, like my father and people like that. Father-in-law. All right. There we are. Let me send it to my dad. Hold on, guys. And I think we're good. So thank y'all for confirming that, man. Because, again, Sunday night we had some issues. Sunday night. It was, for whatever reason, YouTube and OBS were not talking properly. And it does look like there's still a little bit of blur happening. I think that's just my camera lens. I think that's just my lens giving it a slight delay effect. So I'll get that fixed. Things of that nature going forward. But all right, guys, what's happening, man? Welcome to the latest and greatest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, live from the Steel basement, ready to get right to it with you guys. And I'm going to get right to it because, again, I spend too much time talking and I don't allow enough time for those who call into the show to talk. I see my guy Daron is already in there. Daron, if you're able to hear me on the stream and not on the Discord, is because I just have that on silent, so you're not hearing double audio from me. But I got you, and that's why I want to get into my topics quick, fast, than a hurry, man. So honestly, guys, so the show is not extremely long. I'm really trying to get my time management together. And I know y'all bearing with me. So let's get right to it. Let's say hello to a few early commenters. My guy, Brent Fox, is in the building. He says, salute to the Steelers family, salute to me. And he says, family, salute to all U.S. military veterans and most of the chat. And yes, I do want to acknowledge that as well. And I may remember to say that at the end of the show. You know, happy Veterans Day to all of the veterans. There are many veterans that I know, friends and family. My father is also a veteran, did a long stint in the military. I want to say 27 years, something like that. My father-in-law, who will probably pop up in here at some point, Leonard Langley, also a veteran. And like I said, many friends and veterans. So salute to all of you guys and gals. Thank you for your service. Definitely appreciate that. Who else we got up in here? The lovely Lanisha is in the building. Hello, Lanisha. Fellas, y'all know the routine, man. Take time out to say hello to our lovely ladies of Steeler Nation. Roll out that red carpet and treat them with care. Always good to see you, Lanisha. Always. My man, Y Diggy in the building. My guy, Jermaine White is in the building. Barbara Bill is in the building. Daredevil in the building. Vista Light is in the building. Who else did I see in here? Y Diggy. I already said Y Diggy, I think, but I'm going to say it again. My good brother Y Diggy is in the building. Who else did I see? Quick. Steeler Cards is in the building. My brother from another, Kenyon, is in the building as well. My man Mark Cunningham in the building. Derek Moore in the building. And I'll leave it at that, guys. The infamous Tim as well. I'll leave it right there so I'm not taking up too much time. So like I said, guys, the goal for me right now is time management, right? Time management. And it's funny because I am a manager by my day job, right? So I should be able to be good with that. I do not want extremely long shows. So let's get right to it. Let's get out of my topics, get away from them really quick, get in and get out so I can get to the guys who may want to call in. So let's do it. All right, my first topic, guys. So like always, we just give you some quick hits as far as the injury report and some things from Tomlin. Full disclosure, guys, I did not watch the presser. I just didn't have time to do it today. My wife and I both were off, and we had a nice day together, man. Spent a lovely time together. Went, did some shopping, had some lunch, tried a new coffee shop. You know, just spent that quality time with her. And then we came back when my son was off from school, chilled for a minute, took him to basketball practice. While he was at basketball practice, we went to the gym. So yeah, your boy's fresh out the gym. And now here we are. So what I did do was I did fast forward to the part where he kind of gives the injury report. And that's it. I didn't hear anything else. So I don't really have any comments on Tomlin's presser. I will watch the whole thing after tonight's show. But he did talk about injury report. He did say Cole Holcomb is working his way back, so that's absolutely great news. Darius Slay is in the concussion protocol, so, you know, we have to see how that goes to see if he's cleared or what have you. Jabril Peppers is also will work this week, but Tomlin seemed to be a little more, you know, we'll keep the light on for him. We'll let participation be the guide, but it didn't seem like he was as strong about that as he was with Holcomb, but maybe I just read that wrong. But either way, he'll be working, and he'll get started working this week, and participation will be the guy. But I guess the bigger news, they seem extremely optimistic about Isaac Seumalo. So that is good news because the offensive line didn't have their best effort. And, you know, whether you want to say Isaac Seumalo makes the line better or worse, you know, that, of course, that's always up for debate. But, you know, anytime you're getting a starter back and optimistic about that, then that's something to be optimistic about, right? Even allowing us to now allow Calvin Anderson to be, or is it Spencer? Is it Calvin or Spencer? Is it Calvin Anderson or Spencer Anderson? Y'all correct me in the chat, but y'all know who I'm talking about. Number 74, Anderson. Allow him to be the sixth guy again, where he can report eligible, and we can start doing that again, how we would run out of the big set. Couldn't really and haven't really been able to do that as much as cleanly without those particular guys and that particular personnel. Let me check the chat, y'all. Spencer. All right, and so let's see why Diggy said Calvin. Because I think we had a Calvin Anderson at one point as well, didn't we? So whichever name it is, y'all know who I'm talking about. So, you know, it's all cool. Kenya says Spencer, and why Diggy said Calvin. So we're going to call him Spalvin. How about Spalvin? But anyway, let's get back to it. What else do I got? I did hear a very early portion in the presser when Tomlin was about to start talking about the Bengals. He did say something about Logan Wilson being traded, and I actually forgot all about that. So like I said, I'm interested to hear the rest of the presser, but I guess that is news. You know, Logan Wilson was a solid inside backer for those guys, number 55, if you guys don't know. And I'm not sure who they replaced him with, you know. I did hear Tomlin say something about a young tandem, but if you've been watching just the league, Cincinnati's defense has not been great this season. It absolutely has not been great. They weren't great, really, when the Steelers played them the first time. Remember, we lost the game 33-31, right? It was a very close, contested game. Neither defense was really doing their job. You know, Joe Flacco was able to connect quite a few times, if y'all remember, to with Jamar Chase, and that just was what the story was, and the Steelers lost. But clearly, the Bengals defense has not got any better. They're trading assets away. So I would expect the Steelers to get back on, as Tomlin would say, that moving train this week and get their offense back in order. And that's all I got on that. But that is the latest news I have, guys, right there. Like I said, anything else Tomlin may have said in the presser, I did see on Steelers Depot. I always check my favorite Steelers site. I did see an article. I didn't read it, but I did see an article where basically I guess he was asked why Juan Thornhill, as I go into my next topic, roster moves, he was asked, I guess, why Thornhill was no longer on the team or why he was released. And, you know, in quotes they put on the article, he wasn't playing up to snuff. So I don't think that's a mystery, guys. I saw a funny tweet on X today where somebody posted, basically they posted that quote, and also they showed him, you know, on the ground trying to reach back to defend. I think it was a pass to Christian Watson. I think it was one of those passes against Green Bay, and it kind of summed up his play. And we all saw it. You know, to start the season, I think Juan Thornhill looked like he was doing some decent things the first game or two, but after that, it kind of went downhill. And to be honest, to be fair to him, it could be because he lost his running mate. You never know, right? It could be because there was no Deshaun Elliott there to play off of him, you know, the strong safety, free safety tandem. I don't know. But either way, I think we saw it. The coaching staff saw it. Therefore, Juan Thornhill is no longer a Pittsburgh Steeler. And clearly, Jalen Ramsey is probably going to get more snaps back there at free safety. I think the combination of him and Kyle Duggar so far, the experiment seems to be working. Now, speaking of which, the Steelers made another roster move. I'm not going to say, I will say it was surprising because I didn't know that they were going to go out and still look for another corner. Makes sense, though, if you want to talk about Darius Slay and you want to talk about having depth. They went out and they signed, what's his name? Asante Samuel Jr. And hey, here's an interesting thing about that. I had completely forgot, man. I mentioned this to Kenyon and Tony earlier. I forgot about Asante Samuel Jr., his injury. I totally forgot about that. I did. Honestly, I didn't realize he had an injury of that nature. I didn't realize he had a spinal injury. Did not know why he was a free agent. I'm just being honest with y'all. You know, people always try to act like they know everything. I did not recall that. But apparently he is cleared to play. The Steelers have signed him. He's on the practice squad. I would imagine it would be a depth piece, and potentially he may get promoted when the time is right. Let's see when that is. And we may be able to utilize them. And the reason why it's important to note, Juan Thornhill gets released. Jalen Ramsey has been fielding the free safety spot, did it the entire game against the Chargers. Darius Slay, concussion protocol. You have James Pierre, who came in and played fairly decent. But clearly it's letting you know that they are looking to bring in another cornerback because Jalen Ramsey obviously is going to remain at free safety. That's what it seems. That's what it would seem to be. And it's not because of a demotion. It's because he's playing so far the best free safety. And you got to have someone that can, or some bodies that can continue to come in and fill the cornerback positions, whether we're in our base or nickel or, you know, the sub packages or even in dime. And that's why they're adding another component. So I would expect a guy like Asante Samuel to get a helmet at some point, right? Because, again, they're just trying to do whatever they can do to keep the secondary together. And, hey, I respect it. I respect it. That's about all I have, guys, with it's about all I have as far as, you know, roster moves and such like that. I do see, I'm looking over here, I see someone is saying, Jermaine is saying Echols is counting his days. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, Jermaine. I don't think Brandon Echols is playing bad. Again, on the rewatching the game, I don't think Echols played bad. I just started the All 22. Channel members, be on the lookout for that. I'm going to try to get that out to you guys tomorrow. I had planned to do it today, but like I said, I spent the day with my wife while we were both off. We'll try to get that footage up for you tomorrow. I'll let you know in advance what I will be showcasing in that video. I have 8 plays. There's 8 passing situations from the Pittsburgh Steelers where we're going to be solely focusing on Aaron Rodgers. And it's 8 plays. There's one, I'm going to show the Roman Wilson touchdown, and it's interesting because I'm going to show you that and the relation that it has to the Calvin Austin interception. And I'll go ahead and talk about that, guys, because I'll transition into kind of just giving my recap and thoughts of the game. And then I'm going to be done. I'm going to get you guys here on the line for you guys that want to call in. Listen, man. Point blank period, Aaron Rodgers did not have a great game. He just didn't. That's just it. I still feel the same after rewatching the game. The scoreboard read 25-10, but those 25 points, I am not beating up our defense about it. In reality, the defense gave up 23 points, right? 2 of those points was a safety, right? And Aaron Rodgers is trying to be cute and trying to escape. And, good job by Khalil Mack, spinning right back into him. And it looks like, the ball probably kind of hit Troy Fautanu on the way out. But again, you got to be careful in that situation. But the defense surrendered 23 points. And it was late, guys. I'm talking late. If you remember, all the way through the third quarter, it was still a tight game. So I'm not putting this game on the defense. I did hear that small piece of that. Like I said, a little piece of the press conference that I did hear today. I did hear Tomlin say, in his reflections, the defense just wore down. As he was saying, because we never got that balance or got that rhythm offensively. That's literally it, guys. Like, again, I know sometimes as fans, it's hard to look at the ins and outs, right? The minutia of it. That's literally what it is. That's football, guys, on any level, but particularly even the level that most of you guys watch, which is the NFL. If your offense is not producing and they continue to put your defense out there on the field, it's going to be a long day. Even the greatest defenses is not going to hold an NFL team down all night, right? It's just not going to happen. Now, you'll get anomalies like if y'all watched that game last night. What a game. What a game with the Eagles and the Packers. But look what happened. Eventually, one of the offenses hit something big. They had a drive where Saquon hit a nice big run, and then they went and they dropped the bomb to Devontae Smith, and that was it. But the anomaly is both defenses was playing out of this world. Neither offense was able to do anything for a whole half, but that's not the norm. But again, compare that game to the Steelers game. I would say arguably both the Steelers defense and the Chargers defense both played well. They played phenomenal, in my opinion, in terms of allowing things in the first half. Remember, at one point, guys, the score was 3-2. So it just goes to show you that that's what happened with our team, man. Our offense could not do anything with that defense. On the rewatch, and I can't wait to really analyze it on film, but the Chargers played a lot of tight man coverage on us. Sometimes they played cover 2, and they were able to get pressure on us, and Aaron Rodgers' tricks getting in and out of the pocket didn't always work. The time that he got out of the pocket and he just misses DK Metcalf, I understand, that one is kind of a scramble. You step up and let it go, but we've seen him hit that type of pass, so that's the only reason why I can judge it. The pass to Jonnu Smith, clean pocket, my friends, a clean pocket. So clean where he did his little, he does that little flick release, like, and he just overshoots it. You put that on a rope, like Mark said, Sunday night, Jonnu might get in the end zone. He might get in the end zone. At the very worst, he's getting down to the 2 or 3, I think. And that could have changed the complexion of the game. At that point, it was 3-2. You see what I'm saying? It's just when your offense is not sustaining drives, your defense is going to wear down at some point. And that's, in a nutshell, what happened. Aaron Rodgers did not have the best game, guys. He had quite a few missed targets, overthrows. You have the tip pick by Calvin Austin, which at that point the game was pretty much out of reach anyway. I don't think at that point of the game, I actually have it notated because I'm going to show that play to my channel members. 8:08 left in the fourth quarter. I don't think at that point we're going to win the game anyway. But still, stuff like that. And Aaron Rodgers throwing that first interception, overthrowing DK. It just wasn't the best. And there's also some plays, which I'm going to show you guys in the All-22, where even when Aaron did get out of the pocket, it's unfortunate he didn't see the guy right here in front of him. Like a couple of those times, like early in the first quarter, there was a 3rd and 4. And Kenneth Gainwell is right in front of him. And he never saw him. You know, he just happened to be looking this way. He's right at the sticks. He's looking in the same direction. And Gainwell is kind of like here. He's looking here because he tried to throw it to Calvin Austin. But on that play, y'all remember it was a 3-and-out. Gainwell is right there ahead of his man. If he just glances for a second, think maybe he went to Calvin Austin because it looks like Austin might have did like a pivot route. But it's little stuff like that where it's little things like that that keeps the offense from moving. So outside of Aaron Rodgers having misfires, there's also those plays that are always going to happen, right? Where a quarterback is looking in one direction, it happens. It's just like, let me use a video game analogy. It's just like when y'all watch people play Madden, or when some of y'all have watched me and you in the stream and you in the comments, oh man, you had X. Oh, it's the same thing. Real quarterbacks, sometimes once they see their read or they see where they want to go, they might not see the guy right here. So outside of the mistakes that Aaron Rodgers had, it was also those plays that happened throughout the duration of the game that kept the offense from getting going. And that's just it, man. The offense lost this game for us. They never put us in a spot where we could really take a lead, score a touchdown, get enough first downs. You know, our 3rd down conversion rate was horrendous. And there you have it, man. And that's it, you know. That's it. And, you know, and some of those plays definitely was on the offensive line as well. But it is what it is, man. But again, if y'all go back and watch, if you don't watch anything else, you watch that that play to Jonnu Smith that we thought was a catch that ended up being overturned. And I see people trying to blame Jonnu Smith for that. That ball was extremely high, and he was lucky enough to even have it come down and trap it on his forearm. He couldn't haul it in. Clean pocket, bro. That was supposed to be a clean pass, but it was not. So there you have it. That might be all I have, guys, before I bring phone calls on. And for any of you guys that want to give a call in, I do see Infamous Tim is already here. I see Daron is here. Let me grab the link, because there's also something else. There's something else that I want to announce here in just a second. Hold on, guys. Let me post the link in the chat. Give me 2 seconds. 2 seconds. So if you guys want to call in, again, the only method that I have right now is Discord. Please feel free to call in. And again, guys, if I've missed any super chats, Wonder Bread, as I call them, I do apologize if I've missed it. But I do thank you if you've already done so. And I thank you for anybody who may be doing so. Wow. I just said that. Look, I just see CT Pittman pops up. Shout outs to my good brother CT Pittman, man. I appreciate the Wonder Bread, sir. But like I said, guys, Discord link, I just posted it. So if you want to come in and talk turkey, let's do it. CT Pittman says, hope Rodgers not turning into Cap Rooney before our very eyes. If you know, you know. Yeah, man, listen. I hope not as well. I'll just say that. And, you know, as I unmute myself here in Discord, only for the good people in Discord to now hear me, I'll be bringing you guys on in a moment. Yeah, I hope not as well. And let me just speak on it, man. As far as Rodgers, let me just give y'all this perspective. Rodgers has shown us that he can still play. Largely, I would just say he had a bad game, right? And Aaron Rodgers has had our offense in much better positions this season. Our offense has been way better than the last few seasons that we've had, even with Justin Fields at the helm, even with Russell Wilson at the helm, even with Kenny Pickett at the helm. We have had a entirely different and entirely better offense. However, the question always was, would Aaron Rodgers hold up for the entire season? right? Whether that be just his age, whether that be him taking hits, whether that be the offensive line protecting him more than they, as much as they need to, a lot of different factors. So I'm hoping that we're not seeing that shift and maybe it's just a bad game. Also, I've been saying anyway that I don't have Super Bowl aspirations for this team anyway. In the same breath, I would say, though, if our offense can play like they have played for the first, let's see, where we 5-4 for the first 7 games, right? Because even the game against the Colts, we got going a little bit later. But if the offense can play like they played pretty much in the first 7 games, and our defense can play like they actually played to begin with in this game, yeah, I think the Steelers can play with anybody. Ironically, that's how I feel. But these are all ifs, ifs, ifs. So we'll see what happens, guys. I'm going to still watch and support the team, of course, and hope for the best, right? I think they get back on the right foot, if you will, in this game. I think the players will be motivated to get that win back. It's at home, and their offense is trash. And I would think that any cornerback on that team is not going for allowing Jamar Chase to just march down the field on them. So we shall see. We shall see. So, all right, guys, before I take the phone calls, let me say this. I'm going to say something surprising that you guys probably will say, what? I have been saying that I was not going to entertain any type of certain conversations, whether it be against a player or Tomlin or what have you. But I'm here to tell y'all this. I've changed my mind and I've changed my stance on that. I am here to entertain any of it. Anything you want to talk about, anything you want to debate about, whether it's Mike Tomlin, the team, a play call, me, anything, I'm here for it. I now will officially unretire me not addressing. I'm here for it, right? But I will say this. I'm only going to address things that are, in my opinion. Let me put the quote fingers right now. In my opinion, I'm only going to address things in my opinion that's worthy of debate. If it's just spewed nonsense, I'm going to be like, okay, moving on. But if you give me a real reason, then I'll debate whatever y'all want to talk about. I will accept anything y'all want to talk about and not try to change your mind. I just will debate it. I think that's going to make the show a little more fun. I don't want to be one of those people that's closed off to stuff. But like I said, this is the only thing that I won't tolerate is any personal attacks. I'm still here for that. Any personal attacks on me or anybody in the chat, I'm blocking you. But other than that, let's have at it. I think this will be fun. But anyway, guys, let's get into some of the phone calls. I got time today. Yeah, that's right, CT. I got time, man. It's going to be fun. Let's get to the calls, man. I think Daron was on first, so we're going to grab him. Let me unmute him and turn up my volume. Hold on one second. My man, Daron, what you got for us, brother? Hello, hello, hello. Daron, can you hear me, brother?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. I got you. What's going on?
First and foremost, did you see who we signed today?
I saw it.
We needed that. I still feel Benny Bishop did a decent job last year. He had deserved a spot, but hey, I'm on the outside looking in. I seen something that they wanted to put him on the practice squad. Be honest, Slay, man, I liked him through the years. Father Time is now knocking at his door. He no longer is the player that he once was. I feel the addition of Asante Samuel Jr. and if we would get back Benny would help out in the middle. Also, the the offense, I thought that was Kenny Pickett out there playing. I ain't even I forgot that was Aaron Rodgers. I thought that was Kenny. We got to turn things around. Defense got worn down. There was a lot of people playing through injury because it got that low. We need to step it up. Hearing all the fire Mike Tomlin, who's we gonna replace him with? Please tell me who is out there that you feel like, man, yes, this is the guy. I don't see it because again, have our offense their film study. Khalil Mack watched Aaron Rodgers. Even the commentators said that Aaron Rodgers likes to step up in there. And what Khalil Mack did, he acted like he was coming on the edge and then swung back around. Now that has been put on film, I am afraid of Cleveland. Yeah, I said it. I hear everybody in the chat right now probably going off on me. If Myles Garrett looks at that and say, "Oh, I can do that," we are in trouble. We are really in trouble. Because he didn't do nothing that first game, but now that he done seen that, he sees that he's faster than Khalil and stronger. Oh, he's gonna get around and get to the quarterback. We gotta fix that. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But I still have a little faith that they can turn it around. I'm gonna keep the faith. Also, you got to open this up during the game so we all can talk. I promise you that it will boost everybody's morale with it. Just where we come to like, hey, did y'all see that? Did y'all see that? So we can be the community that we are. And that's about it that I can think of off the top of my head right now.
Man, definitely appreciate you calling like each and every week, and I'll just reply to the last two things. You have a good point about that Myles Garrett thing. It's on film, and clearly the Chargers studied that, which they should. And here's the thing. Here's the unique thing that I would say as far as my perspective. I don't fault Aaron Rodgers because it had been working. You feel what I'm saying? Like, and I don't think you're faulting him either. I'm just making a general statement. Sometimes teams, they will see something and plan around it. Steelers have done that too and beat teams. So it's like, now here's the question. How do we adjust? I think Aaron Rodgers is a capable veteran that should be able to adjust that, and or Arthur Smith putting him in some different situations. Hey, get the pocket moving, stuff like that. Quick game. Things like that. Like, what will they do to kind of counteract the edge rush? So he's not standing there holding the ball so long. So it's that chess match. So to me, it's more about Rodgers and Arthur Smith adjusting to that more than it is, it's on tape and you know what I mean? So how will the Steelers respond to it would be my number one question. The other thing, definitely feel your point, man, with the chat being open during the game, but I'll give you guys a secret about me. So I'll give you two reasons. The first reason would be sometimes I'm not always in front of the computer. I mean, I could probably cut it on my phone. I'm not in front of the computer and watching the game. So unless I do it on like my mobile device, then that's the only way I could participate. But the second part is I really don't do that myself during the game. Even like Kenyon, Tony, and I, like I'll text them or something like that during a commercial or something. But I don't do a lot of talking during the game. My wife would tell you it's kind of like it's as if I'm playing or something. I don't want no distractions. I don't want commentary. I don't want to hear opinions. I'm focused. So even if I opened it, y'all would never hear from me because I won't do both things at the same time, if that makes sense. But I feel your point. So maybe I will look into, even if I'm at home, maybe I will look into running in here, cutting this on. For anybody who want to jump in and chop it up, y'all could do that. And then, I'll see you guys. You guys can discuss or, share your comments and on the show when I start the show. So we'll see. We'll see. I won't say no, but I know I wouldn't be a good participant. So just being honest. All right, let's grab the infamous Tim. Let me bring him on. Tim, what's good, man? What you got for us?
Hey, Sim, I know you said you want to keep things short, so I'll try to keep it brief. Just a few things. Steelers fans who claim, if we had gotten a true number 2 receiver in the trade market this year would have helped the offense. I just have a legitimate question for them. Based off of what you guys have seen let's just go back to since Antonio Brown left the Steelers, with the way we use our receivers, what legitimately makes a Steelers fan think if we went out and we got another big time receiver that we would actually use him? Before this past game, we've had DK Metcalf. We paid him all that money. We spent all that draft capital to go get that guy. He was averaging 3 targets a game? When we had George Pickens, who was objectively the best player on this offense, when we had Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky, and then we had Justin Fields and Russell Wilson as our quarterback, and the offense would just sputter for 3 quarters and then pop off with 2 big plays. Those 2 big plays usually came from George Pickens, yet and still we were only giving him 2-3 targets a half, maybe 5 targets in total of a game. And up until this game, we barely were featuring DK Metcalf. Now, I understand this game, we did kind of try to force feed him the ball, and I appreciate that, because if you're going to pay a receiver top dollar, I don't care if he's covered. Try to get your best player the ball. If we had gotten a Jacoby Myers, who, by the way, said he did not want to come to Pittsburgh, if we had gotten a Brandon Ayuk or whoever, what makes you think we were going to use them? That's just not how the Steelers run their offense. So I understand, though I might disagree, I understand why we didn't go out there and get another big name receiver, because it's not like we're going to use them. And then my other gripe is more of a personal gripe. I meant to come on a few weeks ago and say this, but I had, life issues, had to go take care of that. When I look at Connor Hayward, I'm not one of them fans who says, oh, he wouldn't be in the league if his brother wasn't Cameron Hayward. I'm not one of those types of fans. I can see that he clearly has talent and ability to play the game. But when I look at a fullback, especially as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, who our motto is run the ball, stop the run, when I look at a fullback, I don't want a Kyle Juszczyk or a Connor Hayward, a more gadget guy, smaller guy that you do gadget plays with. I want a guy like that guy across the bay over there in Baltimore. Patrick Ricard, what is he, 270, 295, almost 300? When I think about a fullback, I think of a guy who looks at a 3-4 defensive end or a 4-3 defensive end and starts licking his chops thinking, I'm about to go put that mofo on his behind and run the ball right behind me. Because we're a team that wants to run the ball, so I want a fullback who is big, heavy, and is going to run through a brick wall, open up a lane for our running back to go run the ball. If we're going to lean into this jumbo set, with, an extra offensive lineman and Darnell Washington, I would prefer we go out and we get a legitimate true fullback. No disrespect to Connor Hayward. That's all I have, Steelers family. Thank you.
Man, appreciate it, Tim. Really good stuff you talked about there, man. So I will respond to both. Guys, I hate to say it. Tim is absolutely right about the wide receiver. And I'm going to add to his point. Arthur Smith's more famous seasons were, if I got this correct, with the 2019 and 2020 seasons with the Tennessee Titans. You guys remember who his number 1 receiver was? Better yet, do you remember who his number 2 receiver was? It's the same blueprint. Get you one big boy that's fast, take shots down the field, can go up and head top somebody, as the young boys say. Moss a guy as a lot of people in my generation would say, 50-50 ball. And you have complementary pieces around them, and you have tight ends. Guys like a Jonnu Smith. You run 12 and 13 personnel. We've seen in our Steelers offense, and it has worked, right? We've seen situations where we had 3 tight ends split out. Look at a couple games ago. There were plays, guys, that you might not have saw in real time, but on the All-22, there were plays where we had Darnell Washington, Freiermuth, and Jonnu Smith split out. Empty set. My point being, and Tim's point, is the Steelers really don't run an offense where they focus heavily on 11 personnel, where a second legit receiver would do you some good. Now, let me offer some pushback that I know some of you guys are going to say, well, what about when they're in 12? You know, there's still 2 receivers and 2 tight ends. I get it. But when you're in that personnel, it's much easier to defend 2 wideouts. You understand what I'm saying? It's much harder when you're in 11 and teams have to go to a sub package, because most of the time when you got one stud, they're trying to rotate coverage to this guy. They're trying to do what they could do with this guy. And then the slot receiver a lot of times is the wild card, i.e. Antonio Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster. I.e. the reason why Juju Smith-Schuster got off. Y'all remember that season when he went crazy? Because Juju was using that middle of the, he was a slot that was winning. And he was winning his matchups because AB was taking everything away. And then AB was still able to get loose. Again, AB was more of a, I don't even want to say true number one, right? I'll say a different number one. AB was a complete receiver. He could beat you deep on a fade. He wasn't blazing fast, but for whatever reason, he could get on top of DBs. He could beat you deep. He could beat you one-on-one with his footwork. He could run a quick slant. He could run a hitch. He could run a screen. He could run a post. He could run a skinny post. He could run a pivot route. His route tree was endless. So he was a different number one receiver. And I know a lot of times you guys, a lot of people in the general audience, you use that number one receiver term loosely. Oh, this guy's not a number one. Oh, he's not. Like y'all say that about DK. DK Metcalf is a number one receiver on a lot of teams, but he's not the same number one as he's not a Justin Jefferson. He's not even a CeeDee Lamb, maybe. I'm just talking about style of receiver, but he's absolutely a stud receiver. You get what I'm saying? So that's my only point, is Tim is right. We just want to see another guy make a couple plays. We saw it in prior weeks. Calvin Austin stepped up and made some plays in prior weeks. I think we are going to see it, whether this season or next, with Roman Wilson. I'm sticking to that. Roman Wilson is going to be something for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to do something I normally don't do. I'm going to stamp that. I'm going to say, I'm stamping that. I'm going to say you can take that to the bank. And if it ends up to be wrong, it ends up to be wrong. It doesn't matter. This is just an opinion. I think Roman Wilson is going to be a solid player for the Steelers. Right? But I think Tim's overall point is correct. It is correct. It would require Arthur Smith to cater more to 11 personnel, and that's just not his DNA. And, you know, if you want to, you know, say where the Steelers should get a different court, I'm here to listen to that. But I'm just saying, sometimes, like Tim said, guys, once things are in place, you have to analyze what it is instead of what you want it to be. Arthur Smith is not going to do anything outside of what he's always been. So we have to look at the Steelers offense from that standpoint. And don't forget, because I'm not going to forget, and I'm still going to stick to this. For this entire season, up until, the offense didn't work Sunday, I would say Arthur Smith has been really good for the Steelers this year. Y'all can agree or disagree. I think Arthur Smith has been solid. I think Arthur Smith has been in his bag. I think this offense has been pretty good this year, up until the stall out on Sunday. So I'm not just going to, discount it because they didn't look good Sunday. You understand what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about that, guys. That's how I feel about that. Okay, is that all or Ali Q6M? He says Arthur Smith ain't done nothing for us. Okay, I mean, like I said, I disagree. I think Arthur Smith has been solid, man. I think he's been solid. Again, look at the numbers. The Steelers have not been that bad offensively. I'm not saying he's a great offensive coordinator, but it's kind of hard to argue that Arthur Smith hasn't done decent. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, just look at the numbers. But, and this is what I'm saying. Let me say this, because I know some of you guys are probably going to overshoot what I just said. Compared to what we have seen the last 5 years offensively, that is my bar. That's my bar when I say Arthur Smith has not been bad this season. I'm comparing it to what we've seen in the prior seasons. I'm not sitting here trying to pump and wave the pom-poms for Arthur Smith. I am saying if you have watched the Steelers and you are objective in thought, the offense has been miles better than it was the last 4 or 5 years. Like stop it if you're saying that ain't true. Like, come on. But again, I understand, guys. I understand that a lot of you guys have your thoughts is microwave thoughts. No disrespect. A lot of times y'all want it like that, and it's with anything. So, it is what it is. What else y'all got? All right, it's time, guys. It's time for y'all to give y'all reflections. I'll sit in here about 5 minutes or so. Whatever y'all want to talk about, debate about, kick and scream about, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Let me take a look, though. I am curious. Let me see where we are. Hold on, guys. And again, I know y'all gonna get technical on me. When I say look at the numbers, I know y'all gonna run and say, oh, but they're not even that. Dog, I'm comparing the Steelers to themselves. Again, I keep everything in perspective. I'm just talking about Arthur Smith. That's it. I'm just talking about Arthur Smith and what he's done for the Steelers. That's all I'm talking about. And I'm sure we're not high on the list in terms of total numbers, because you got to remember Aaron Rodgers hasn't had any big games. So I wouldn't, honestly, before even looking, I would almost guarantee we might not even have 2,000 pass yards. So our numbers are not going to be gaudy. I'm talking about comparing the Steelers to themselves. So what I'm going to look at, I'm going right here to the schedule. Going to the schedule. That's what I'm looking at, and I'm just looking at the point tallies. I'm not looking at total numbers, because obviously I already know that the numbers are not going to be mind-blowing. Let me go to the, let me see. Yeah, because shoot, Aaron Rodgers, has he had a 300-yard game? Maybe not. But first week of the season, the Steelers put up 34 points. We then couldn't do much against the Seattle Seahawks. We put up 17 points. The third game against the Patriots, 21 points. Fourth game, Minnesota, 24 points. Week 6, 23 points against the Browns. Week 7, 31 points and a loss. Week 8, 25 points and a loss. Week 9, 27 points and a win. And then in week 10, 10 points. So again, y'all remember last season when we were just wanting to and hoping to score 20 points? That's all I'm talking about. So if we want to say, if we want to debate whether or not the Steelers need a different style of offense, I'm here for that. I'm with you. I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to debate that. I would like to see more of a wide open offense or a mixture. Y'all know I'm always pounding the table for using more 11 personnel. Infamous Tim, appreciate the donation, my good brother. Thanks for the Wonder Bread. Oh. Good question. He says, who is your team MVP right now? And you cannot say Chris Boswell. Ooh, I don't have the answer. Ooh, I don't. I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure. I would love for y'all to answer that. I'm gonna sit in here and try to think about it. Why Diggy says, I knew it. I knew it won't more than 2,000 yards. Aaron Rodgers currently is at 1,853 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. Oh, you know what, Cade? That's a good one. You know what? You might have to say Jaylen Warren. Jaylen Warren out there offensively looked like he wanted every time he touched the ball, man. He looked like he wants it every time he touched the ball. So that's a good one. But I'm curious to see what some of the rest of you guys would say. Why Diggy says, a gripe I have with Smith, his play calling in the red zone with the Steelers, when the Steelers were down 15-3 and he took the ball out of Jaylen Warren's hands. I think a score there would have flipped momentum. Yeah, I'm with you with that, man. The play call was a little dicey in that situation. Yeah, I don't think nobody could really argue that. Jalen Ramsey, Tim says, Jalen Ramsey is the MVP for me. He says, harp on the Bengals game if you want, but he has been the spark for the defense. Okay. You can make an argument for that. And yeah, in the Bengals game, Jamar Chase, one of the best in the league, just seemed to be giving it to any one of our corners that night, man. Yeah, that was a tough one. Rajad, I'm going to give you a round of applause for that one, man. Oh, man. He said the red flag in Mike Tomlin's pocket for him. That's funny. I love that. CT Pittman says Warren offensively and Peyton Wilson on defense. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so that's interesting. And Kenya says, answer, I do not care. It's week 10. Yeah, but that's, you know what, offensively, yeah, it may be entirely. You know, Jaylen Warren has probably been the most consistent. And you could definitely make some arguments. I mean, defensively, a lot of guys are stepping up, man. You know, you can't forget guys. I'm not saying they're MVP, but I cannot forget what Nick Herbig has done early. I cannot forget what Peyton Wilson is starting to do. I'm definitely not going to forget guys slowly but surely. If you look on a week-to-week basis, Keanu Benton is becoming one of those guys that's going to make some type of play during the game, right? Alex Highsmith, his play has been pretty solid this year. TJ Watt, maybe not your traditional TJ Watt, but he's still been, effective. So Jalen Ramsey, absolutely. You know, even him stepping in and playing in safety is, so that's, it's good, man. No doubt, Kenya. Absolutely. Year after year. Randy Wagner, what's up, man? He says, Sim, why can't we run Jalen Warren 25 times a game? Coach's decision or Jalen's endurance? I definitely don't think, I have no way of knowing, but I do not think it's his endurance. I definitely don't think that. I think Jalen Warren can run the ball 100 times, man. I think he could. Hip Hop Potamus says, Arthur Smith isn't a top 15 play caller, but doesn't help when the head coach refuses to actually play to win. Can't do much when your leader's mindset is play not to lose. Okay, Hip Hop. Like I said, I'm here to debate anything, but, you know, just opinions that we have no concrete evidence on. I won't do that, but, you know, it's cool. You don't like Mike Tomlin. Fair. And I'm not here to say that Arthur Smith is a top 15 play caller. But I'm just saying, these numbers that you guys put out there is, I mean, it's funny to me sometimes, the numbers that we throw at top 15 play caller. Okay, so that means what? It's 32 teams in the league. You understand what I'm saying? So if it's 32 teams in the league, you know right offhand, in today's NFL, 15 other play callers that are better than Arthur Smith. I can't say that I do. It might be. I'm just saying, sometimes when you guys throw out numbers like that, I'm like, all right, where are we drawing this from? Let's try it. You know, I'll let you guys debate that. Is there 15 other people today in week 10 that you say are better than Arthur Smith this season with play calling? And again, the raw numbers I'm sure they're really low because Aaron Rodgers hasn't had effective games as far as, he's had effective games, but sometimes the Steelers have gotten short fields and things like that, you know? So the raw numbers, see, I'm going to say something else that some of you guys might not agree with. And this is for any team. I don't think the highest numbers always means that you're the best. You understand what I'm saying? Because numbers can be inflated. If somebody throws a 70-yard bomb in a game, the numbers can be extremely inflated. That doesn't necessarily mean that. I guess what I'm saying is, this is what I'm saying. This is, again, me. Have what y'all feel. Me. I don't have a way to quantify how good a play caller is. Quantify it. Because again, if you watch all 22 of games, I've seen, and I can vouch for saying, ooh, that was a nice call. We just didn't execute it. How do you quantify that? There's times where you'll look at Andy Reid and you'll say that there was a play he did that was dumb, right? All of you guys have watched football and you disagree with a play call with every coordinator, but that doesn't tell the story of how effective. You understand what I'm saying? So to me, it's nothing that I can prove. If y'all want to prove it with a number or whatever, fine. I just can't prove that. You understand what I'm saying? But again, you know, let's debate it. Let's see what else y'all got. Hip Hop says it's rudimentary. The point is that he's going okay. The point is the head coach just might be the issue. Okay, fine. Okay, point made. You guys make this point every week. Again, I'm here to debate anything. Like I said, I've re-entered that part of it in the show. I'm here to debate anything. What I won't debate is people's dislike for somebody. What's the point of having the thought? Like, I'm not going to change your mind. and I don't care to. So again, if you guys want to keep repeating Tomlin, hey man, I hope you guys get joy in that, because again, you are stuck with Mike Tomlin until at least the end of his current contract. So it's a pointless debate. Jermaine says the offense always knows where TJ is. Is it so? It's easier to set up doubles and chips. Moving around makes the opponent's game planning against him harder. Yeah, y'all know what was crazy? Did y'all see that stat during the game? They showed how many times that TJ Watt has been chipped. The differentiation between him and who was it? Myles Garrett and Aiden Hutchinson. That was crazy. That was crazy. Yeah, that was crazy. Knight Rider, who's making it personal? You said I just don't think he isn't good to win a playoff. Okay, listen, let me say one thing very clearly to all of y'all. Nothing that I'm ever gonna say to y'all on this show is personal. Truth of the matter is, again, I'm a realist. I'm a real type of guy. And sometimes people like it or dislike it, but I'm gonna say what I feel regardless of the outcome, because it's never personal. The truth of the matter is, I really don't care of your opinion. I don't care. I listen and respect it, but I don't care. What I mean by that is there is no effect on my feelings at all of anybody's opinion. So I can 100% promise you that nothing I say on this show to anybody in the chat is personal. So I'm just saying, trying to keep it a beam with y'all. I just don't get, like I said, maybe it makes y'all feel good to keep saying, Tomlin. Cool. Like, we all know where you stand there. I'm just saying, nothing is going to change. So it's kind of like, that'd be like me coming on here and continuing to say something. Like, I would want y'all to say, Sim, you keep saying that. It ain't gonna change nothing. That's all I'm saying, man. So hopefully, listen, salute to you guys, man. I just try to encourage you guys, man. Your life would be better. And I'm not saying your life is bad. I'm just saying you would feel a lot better, man, if you just acknowledge, yeah, I don't like this. I don't prefer this guy as a coach. Put that over here in this box, and then just root for the team otherwise, because you're giving yourself an ulcer. Continuing to just say, Tomlin. Like, it's not going to change, man. It's not going to change. Your beloved Steelers are not going to fire Mike Tomlin. So again, we've been down this road before. The best you can hope for is that once his deal is up, they don't extend it, and then you'll get your new head coach. All right, let me say this, Knight Rider. If that's what you're getting from what I'm saying, you got it. So I'm not going to respond to you directly anymore about the Tomlin thing. So, what's the point? What else you guys got? Saying I don't care about people's opinion is making it personal. Wow, okay. You know what's very interesting, man? What I love about interacting with people, I love seeing the different ways people perceive things. I would like to say, and I would like to think that most of you guys that watch my show or watch me in general didn't take any offense to what I said, or didn't think that what I said was a personal thing. So again, it's interesting to see how it's perceived by each person, because again, I go with the majority. If the majority of you guys said, hey, Sim, I don't like when you do this, do that, I would have to acknowledge it and say, okay, maybe it is something I'm doing. But when it's into the small minority, then I know what I'm doing is not bad, if that's the way to put it. But like I said, most of the people in here, I can guarantee you, did not take me saying that personal. I would encourage you guys the same. As I'm sitting here talking, I would encourage you guys to not necessarily care about my opinion, meaning it's not going to change, it's not going to shape how you feel. That's what I mean. I don't mean literally, I don't care what you say. I'm not, dog, come on, man. If you're taking it like that, then again, agree to disagree. Exactly, Kenyon, but come on, man. What y'all got? What else y'all got, man? Come on, give me some more things before I wrap up. Football related. Rajan says, Raiders, Cleveland, Jets get a new head coach every holiday. They don't even sniff the playoffs. True. How y'all feel about, let me throw that one at y'all. How y'all feel about Brian Daboll being fired? How y'all feel about that? How do y'all feel about that? Brian Daboll. Here's another thing I want to ask y'all about, because I saw this theory too today. Somebody posted. The Steelers should fire Mike Tomlin and bring in Mike McDaniels. How y'all feel about that as well? I'm going to speak on the Daboll thing first. This is what I'm saying, man. Uh-oh. I think the stream is dropping frames again. Uh-oh. Guys, have we frozen? Are we frozen? We were doing good for a moment, but I think the stream is starting to freeze. Y'all let me know. Because if so, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. Hold on, let me look at it on my side. I don't know what's going on with, oh, we still good. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with, I don't know what's going on with OBS, man. I don't know. So let me go ahead and wrap this thing up, man. Y'all saying, some of y'all are saying it's good, some of y'all are saying it's not. So let me wrap this thing up. I'll go ahead and get out of here for now, man, but I definitely want to talk about that going forward. How some teams approach versus the Steelers approach. Now, again, I'm not campaigning for 18 years, but I think everybody is looking for the short-term success. I think that's crazy to fire Daboll that fast. Allow that man to build a culture. I think that's exactly what I was saying to you guys about the Dan Campbell situation. Not many teams are willing to allow a Dan Campbell situation where you lose for a few and then turn it around, and that's crazy. So, but all right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up because OBS is telling me that frames are dropping, and I really don't know why. Because, dog, okay, y'all saying it's fine. Okay, I don't know. The OBS is bugging, but it's been long enough anyway. But yeah, I definitely want to dive into that a bit more at a later date. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Really, really appreciate y'all, man. And listen, I love talking. I love the debate with you guys. And there you have it. There you have it. And it's never personal. I shouldn't even have to explain that to some of you guys. It is never personal. But all right, man. Listen, before I go, though, hold on. This right here, it's for my guys. They know who they are. My Central York Youth Junior Panthers. Like I said on Sunday night, guys, we won our championship. We went 8-2. We won our championship Saturday afternoon, 24-0. And I couldn't be prouder of my guys. Like I said, I know they're going to see this, so I want to shout them out. What a way for my son to start his football career, his very first season, and was able to play on a team that, yeah, man, did their thing, beat everybody in their division, even to get the one team that beat us Well, we lost twice, but one of the teams that beat us early in the season, we beat them in the semifinals, and then we just smack the other team there in the finals. So I want to give them a shout out and give you guys an update, and I want to showcase this right here. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that right there. Right there. Championship ring that they gave to the kids. And I told my son that I would display his little ring for you guys tonight, man. So that's dope. That is dope. And I think I'm going to continue to do it, man. You know, he has one more year at this level, and then after that is middle school. So obviously I won't be coaching there, but I think I'll be an assistant coach next year as well, because I really had fun, man, and I really, really, really enjoyed the kids. So again, you guys, my guys, y'all know who y'all are. Salute to each and every one of y'all. Love y'all, man. And I had a great time with y'all this year. But all right, man, we gonna get out of here, baby. Y'all know the routine, man. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button if you like the content. If you dislike it, hit the dislike button. Also, hit that subscribe button as well as turn on your notifications so you know when videos like these are up and running. And last but not least, guys, my normal PSA, do me a favor. Stay safe out there. Stay healthy. God bless. Good night. Like always, I thank each and every one of you lovely people for coming through. And I shall catch you in the next one. Channel members, got that all 22 coming your way. If you want to see it, I suggest some of you guys join the channel for a small fee. But all right, man, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.